Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at YFII or YFII, whatever it's called. Let's have a look at that. So Bitcoin, obviously, we just have a quick peep at this. Bouncing, I suppose you could call it a bounce. You could also call it a bit of a pump, thanks to Elon Musk yet again. So, take this with a pinch of salt. I mean, it's nice that it is bouncing. I don't like bounces from tweets because, well, they're not organically made, but it's bouncing all the same. It's good fundamental development. You can buy Teslas now with Bitcoin, which is good. I'm not going to buy one, but it's nice to know that I could. So it's all good for the price, I suppose. But as far as the chart's concerned, we have to see how it fares. We really want to see us take out and stay above all these moving averages, but it's a good start. But we're not here to talk about the very short-term time frames. I'm here to present I suppose an opportunity for myself. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. You all know that, and I wouldn't expect you, and I wouldn't want you to copy what I do, especially on something like this, which could, really, really carry risk. Now, I got involved on this one on the way up here, and it didn't work out for me. So by getting back involved in something like this, it does remind me of how horrendous this move was in the past. However, I'm choosing to look at it in a different way now. And I actually think that this one could potentially be looking at a full-scale reversal over a prolonged period of time, throughout this year. So in that respect, if we're thinking about a full-scale reversal from the price where we're at right now, we are kind of talking about a 300% move and possibly more, all right? Possibly more. So, that said, I'll let you into the reasons why I'm thinking that. So since this horrendous collapse basically is what it was, we've been in a steady sort of small uptrend of accumulation. This is basically what it is. It's accumulation, a bullish reaccumulation, you could argue, because it's basically moving up. So we'll measure this with a pitchfork from the bottom to the top, down to that wick there, and we've got kind of a pitchfork vibe going on here. Now, it's not neat, it's not tidy, but it's kind of a pitchfork vibe. Provided we're at the bottom here, it's still going to be accumulation until we break out into the next zone. Then the bull market, the bullish moves will then at that point begin. But getting rid of that for now, because that's just a brief guide. It's not particularly relevant or anything. Again, we're not looking to make any giant moves at the moment. But it's what I say. I say this a lot with some of these tokens. Right? The ones that the altcoins that I like to trade are the ones that are potentially at the bottom, because if you buy a bottom, then you end up making it becomes more exciting when the bull market starts for that particular token. So this is the daily. We're above all major moving averages, but they are all in one place. So this is why I call it accumulation. All the moving averages are in one place, which basically allows it for it to snake up and down, up and down, up and down, not really respecting any of them, because none of them are really at this point supports or resistances. They're just one big mess, which can allow for this to snake up and down. The only real one that I'm concerned about and holding any relevance to is this one, this big pink one, which is basically the centre of the Bollinger Band. Now, the Bollinger Bands are pinching quite tightly. I mean, it's quite a range still. I mean, it's from the bottom to the top. It's a 22% range. So it's to say that it's pinching, there's still plenty of range to be traded there. But I'm looking to buy this in spot and hold it for a reasonable period of time, looking for essentially quite a large retracement. So it looks pretty sorry for itself, but this does look like accumulation. Similar to how this one did, and then it popped up like this one, I think this is going to be doing something similar over a prolonged period of time. So we go to the weekly here. Now, because the chart is very young, I don't hold too much relevance to it, but it is what it is, and what we do have is a conversion baseline cross on the weekly here. Now, we don't actually even have a cloud on here. We don't have a cloud, and the Chiku span is way below the price action, so it for what it's worth, it's not worth a great deal, but it is worth something. Also, this is the 20 weekly moving average. Breaking below here would say it's over. It's dead, it's basically, it's gone. But as this big collapse took place and bounced basically on the 20 weekly, and again, and more or less again, and again, I think that this is going to show some signs of life. Now, when it moves, it will move quite aggressively, in my opinion. But because we're essentially at the bottom, accumulating towards a bottom zone, I am expecting still some volatility, and it might not even work out for me. All right, buying bottoms, like you've probably seen me do on the channel, with things like Holochain. FET was a good one. Holochain was a dicey one, low volume at the time. it may not have worked out, but the signals were there for all to see. The video's there for you to see. So I'm not boasting or anything. It's not about that. It's about, you know, what to expect when you buy the bottom. When you buy the bottom, expect volatility, crazy volatility, shakeouts, because you know, there's a lot of fear at the bottom. You're not buying into an established uptrend. You're buying at what could potentially be the bottom. So if we go to the Satoshi pairing, and what we see here, if we just zoom in a little bit, because it looks, you know, dead as, you know, anything. Essentially, these last couple of weeks gone by, new fresh lows, and this is a Sats pairing. So lots of Satoshi pairings look like this. They look horrendous. I'm thinking that because we've bottomed out here, we are at least going to find another rally, even if it's only up to the 20 weekly, which would provide us a 53% move if it were to do that from where we are right now. That's 53% move against Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, which it looks like it wants to, and this would be 53% on here, probably more along the lines of, or at least 50%, maybe even more, probably talking 60-70%. 50% will bring us back up to here, up to our previous top. And then is there any confluence to that? So that brings us up to these zones around here. So yeah, 50 to 60, maybe 80, or it's difficult to really put a figure on it, because really I'm looking to buy this. Well, I've already bought it, I have to say. I've bought it. But I'm looking to hold it because the weekly chart looks good against Tether. The Satoshi pairing looks, well, like it's bottomed, basically, you know, potentially bottomed. We do have oversold RSI on this here on the weekly, which is usually a sign of some form of at least relief rally, which is kind of what I'm expecting on Sats anyway, which would lead us up to that 50 to 60% move against its Sats. And then if we look basically back to the Tether pairing, we do have this small but steady reaccumulation of an uptrend. So again, I would not advise anybody going in on this one unless you're happy to carry a significant amount of risk, because that's what you would be carrying. Buying bottoms does carry risk, but ultimately if it works out and it starts to do a full retracement, gets itself into a steady uptrend, then yeah, we really would be looking for some decent moves. Now the key area is pretty much here, this rally area. Rally, bounce, 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 and then more or less we kind of topped it over here, a few little bounces and our breakdown. Now this broke down with the entire market, but if we have a look at how it tried to survive before the entire thing collapsed, we did find ourselves 1, 2, 3 bounces on it. So this is going to be the significant resistance zone, basically at 3,000, just above. I would expect a rejection from there, of course, but breaking above there, testing it as support. If the market permits the move, if the market is kind, then yes, these areas will be taken out, and then we can start to talk about more significant areas, probably between areas of 5 to maybe even $6,500. So you know, we're talking about more or less a 2 to maybe about a 2x, more or less, give or take a 2x from where we are right now. But again, I have to stress, this one is accumulating right now, so be prepared for moves up and back down again, moves up and back down again. That's just how it's going to work until these moving averages start to diverge away from each other, establishing some form of steady uptrend, and then maybe even some more signals, some more positive signals, and then resistance is broken, turn to supports. Don't expect anything massive out of this one. This isn't going to be life-changing for quite a decent period of time. But you know, buying the bottoms do offer that opportunity to at least do a 2 or a 3x. And then, you know, once a 2 or 3x is forged, then we can talk about going higher and higher and higher. But for the moment, I am looking just for a 2 to a 3x on this one max, because it's difficult for me to predict what the overall market will be like when those areas are met. So the market might be looking very toppy. It all very much depends on Bitcoin. So I can't give you an overall top target figure, but this is my plan, this is my strategy, and it does carry an enormous amount of risk. So bear that in mind if you do want to look into this one. I would suggest you look into it yourself. Don't just watch this video and follow it. I have to say this one does carry risk, and I say that because I've recently been quite hurt with this one. You know, it was working out well. I must have bought in around about here. I think this is where I bought in before, so more or less just above my entry point. now is where I bought in before, but I sold at a loss because it did scare me. It does scare me because this one, a lot of people call it scammy. I don't know a great deal about it, but I'm not going to call it a valuable project or a scammy project or a great project or a bad project. I don't know enough about it to really give it. Fundamentals are not really my thing, to be honest. But it doesn't have a great reputation, I have to say. But then neither do a lot of the coins I trade, and they seem to work out okay majority of the time. So again, I stress, it does carry risk. Enter this at your own peril. I'm not your financial advisor. If anything, I'm trying to warn you against such an activity, not to follow me on what I've done. Again, most of these trades I've done this year have worked out, but then so has everybody's. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.